And so we're recording. Yay! Okay, so let's just start from sitting. Sit on your block. And if you want to use a blanket, that's fine, whatever feels good to you. Connect your sit bones to whatever support you're sitting on, or if you're not sitting on a block or a book or anything like that, then just connect to the floor. But move the fleshy tissue away so that you can actually feel the sit bones. And then put your hands on your hips and just do a little bit of rocking back and forth. So you can just move the pelvis a little bit and just feel like almost like you're doing a tiny, tiny spinal wave. And then come back to neutral and find neutral spine. So neutral spine is when you're not flexing and you're not overly extending. You're in the middle. Your pubic bone and your tailbone are fairly level. You can squeeze the hips in from the outside, bring everything into the midline and front and back. And then let's get long. So let's lift our rib cage up off of our hips. So we put more space in the waist area. And lift up the frontal armpit. So like right where, see I have my thumbs under here. You can even do this if this helps. You look kind of funny, but you're at home by yourself, so it's okay. So just lift up under your armpits. So this frontal armpits lift and widen and broaden through the collarbones. So feel that you're in a doorway and you're trying to push the door frame out this way, so that we can widen and broaden here. And the thing is that I've been spending a lot of my time reading over old notes that I've made years ago from different conferences and yoga that I've been to, or maybe my own notes from my own classes that I created. And one thing that we have to remember is we do this at the beginning of class, and as we practice, what can happen is that we can feel more movement, more opening, and it's lovely. I mean, this is why I love yoga, because we're opening the body in such a nice, gentle way, and it feels so good, right? So here we are, we're there, kind of got off track there. Bring your chin in and lengthen through the top of your head. Like it's as if you have a book on top of your head and you're trying to raise it up, but with no strain in the neck. See, because I can lift my head and it can be all, my jaw is tight. No, I want everything to relax. My jaw to relax, my face to relax, my chest to relax. And then finally, once you've got that position, and you're not leaning too far forward and you're not leaning too far back, it's more like you're sitting against there's a back to your chair and you're sitting against it, because we do have a tendency to stick the ribs forward, but you find that place where, there's some peace, because we want to find the shape of the pose, and then we want to be able to sit in it as well. So we're going to close our eyes. Feel your tailbone pushing down into your block of the floor. I've always been using that analogy lately about the woodpecker, the tip, the beak is going into the block. That's your tailbone. Just bring your awareness to the present moment, to your body, what you're feeling in your body. Sense and feel. And then bring your awareness to your breath. And feel the expansion of the chest and the sternum, collarbones with the inhalation, and how there's a little bit of a relaxing or a letting go on the exhalation. So we're learning in yoga how to let go. One of the things that we're letting go of is all the preconceived and untrue truths that we think we know about ourselves. Think we're a certain way, but we practice yoga, we start to let some of these ideas go. Those are the ideas that we think about ourselves. We're this or we're that, or we're too thin, too fat, too this, that. We have to let all that go and just So we do this practice at the beginning to get into our body, to experience what's going on in our body, to experience our breath, make the connection between the mind, the body, and the breath. Union. Your hands together at your heart. Thumbs can even rest on the breastbone, reminding yourself to lift it up, the breastbone up towards the thumbs. Connect the hands, feel the energy flowing from one hand to the other. To the body, to the brain. Slowly release. Let your hands come down to your lap. Slowly open your eyes. All right, so I want to do a little exercise. You know, a couple weeks ago, I did a class where I talk about being in your body, embodying your body, and I actually asked us to use that mantra throughout the class. I embody my body. I'm in my body. So come on up to standing for a second. And I just want to show you, this is just a little exercise to sort of get a sense of what that means. So if we stand, in whatever way we normally do, and we turn our palms up and we just lift our arms up, and then exhale and bring our arms down. We're just doing movement. We're moving air, and we're just moving. So, and nothing's wrong with that, and we feel that feels pretty good. But now I want you to focus on engaging. So find your Tadasana. Stand with your feet a comfortable distance apart or close together, depending on how you feel is what's right for you. Find the four corners of your feet. Hug all the muscles to your bones, so sacrum and belly. Like we did in sitting, get lots of space between your hips and your ribs. Lift your breastbone up. Turn your palms out and spread all the fingers. I don't know if you can see because of the coloring, but I'm spreading all my fingers away from each other, activating my hands and my arms. So my forearms, my biceps, triceps, they're all working. Now I'm going to slowly and with control inhale and lift my arms up over the head, not losing anything that's going on in my body. I'm going to be very active as I draw my arms together. And last week we held a block and we tried to pull the block apart with our hands. And as we did that, we brought the elbows together. So draw your inner elbows together. Pull your imaginary block away from each other. So your arms almost feel like they're going a little bit in a Y shape. Get really long through the waist. Get really long through the outer armpit. Get really long through the arms that you're reaching, and keep the weight in the heels. Keep the engagement of the lower body. And then exhale, and again, very slowly, with control, and active hands and arms, hugging all the muscles to your arms. Push your arms down towards the floor, turns the palms in. So that's the difference between being in your body and being very active and conscious and just moving. And then sometimes we just want to move. There's nothing wrong with it. But I'm just showing you the difference of how we want to be in our practice. Okay, so you might want to move your place. You need to find some wall here. I'm going to use my fireplace as the wall. So pretend this is a wall here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hand against the wall and I'm going to have my thumb pointing upwards. I'm going to push the palm of my hand, all my knuckles, all my fingers into the wall. Okay, so I'm doing that on this side here. My fireplace is my wall. And what I want to do is find this little external rotation of the upper arm. So lift this armpit, feel the chest opening, push your hand in. Now, if you have tight forearms, you might feel this. You might feel it right in this area right here. You might also feel it in the wrist or in the arms. Okay. Sometimes people get kicked out, and I will let you back in if that happens. So that's why I came close to you. Okay. So I'm pushing my hand into the wall. I'm lifting my breastbone up. I'm turning my body away. And what I want you to feel is the action of the shoulder blade behind you. Okay, so feel the shoulder blade really pushing in. Now your arm should be active. You should be embodying the action in your arm. So you should feel a lot going on there. So push, engage shoulder blade, push the shoulder blade into your body, turn your body away from your arm, feel the action of the shoulder blade, feel the action of the tricep coming up, the elbow opening, okay? And the hand pushing into the wall. Good. And then exhale and release. Shake that one out. And we'll do the other side. Okay? And you'll probably notice that your sides are different because we're never the same, left and right side. So, wide hand, thumb pointing up towards the ceiling. Hand against the wall, or whatever you have, a hutch or whatever you can use. Now, have elbow, wrist, and elbow pretty well in line. Push your hand into the wall, turn your body away, feel the action of the shoulder blade. Your shoulder blade's like a triangle, and on the bottom of the triangle, that tip, you want to draw that into your body. And you're pushing into the wall, being very active and turning your body away. So anybody who has rotator cuff injuries, and I know there's a few in here in the class today, this is really great for your rotator cuff. Okay, so I've been doing this every day. A little shoulder issue, turning away, and I'm pushing into the wall. And like I said, you might feel this in your wrist or in your hand. Don't forget to breathe in every pose. Inhale and exhale. Good. And then exhale and release, and then just shake your arms out. Okay. Well, we will be doing some repetition from previous classes. So we're going to start off in child's pose and come down to the floor. Now, if you have knee issues and you can't come down to child's pose, please lie on your back and draw your knees into your chest. And then you will take your arms up over your head because I want the extension of the side body in this pose. If you don't have knee issues and you can go into child's pose, remember our hips are heavy. They're pulling back, staying back towards our heels. And then we're going to walk our hands forward. Walk them forward just a little bit at a time until belly and thighs are resting on each other and front chest is starting to draw downward. Now, when I say downward, I really mean forward and downward. Okay, so again, the chest always comes towards the top of your head, and then we draw down. And then every time you breathe, try to extend. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, release. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, release. And as you release, see if you can walk your hands a little farther forward. I also recommend using spider hands, going up on your fingertips and drawing the palm of your hand up, away from the floor. Pretend that you have a ball underneath your hand, and you want to suck that ball up into your wrist and up into your shoulder. And then walk your hands gently up. Come to sitting. Now we'll take the legs out really wide in Adho Mukha Virasana. Okay, so toes together. Knees take as wide as you can comfortably take them. And we're going to do the same pose. We're going to walk our hands out. Okay, now remember, if you drop your head too quickly, you're going to inhibit the movement of the spine. You're going to inhibit that length that you get in the spine. So keep the head up. Walk your hands out in front slowly. And keep that length in your body until got as far as you can. And again, feel free to do spider fingers or push the tips of your fingers in and lift the palms up a little bit so the arms are really active. You're getting ready for your next pose. Draw the belly in and up from pubic bone to tailbone. Sorry, not from pubic, but from pubic bone to belly button. And draw your hip points together. So you're activating the core just a little bit, because remember we talked last week about how that part of that whole releasing low back issue. And then again, slowly walk yourself up and come up to sitting. Nice. Okay, so now we're going to go over side to side. Today, I wrote in my blog there, we're doing a little twists and some balancing. So, and I also want to really make sure that our low back is really great. A lot of people are getting into gardening, and the weather wasn't nice this weekend, so maybe a lot of people sat on their couch. So again, walk out. Tailbone is pushing down towards your toes. The body is lengthening. You're drawing hands out in front of you, very slowly, inching them forward. And again, each inhale, think legs, more space between the hips and the ribs, more lengthening of the side body, more opening of the armpit. And each exhale, allow yourself to sink deeper into the pose. Now we're going to walk our hands over to the left-hand side. And as you do that, draw your right hip back, even shifting my hips a little bit here for the purpose of today's class. And I'm really extending the right arm and contracting the left side. And I'm breathing. And I'm breathing into that rib area, the side rib area, where you're probably feeling the biggest stretch. And remember, I talked about last week how when we breathe into our rib cage, when we focus on our breath in yoga, we are becoming more alkaline. We're a society that's very acidic, and we need to become more alkaline. Also, cortisol levels drop when we become more alkaline. Our body's not so stressed. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to walk your left hand back, bring your left hand right near your knee, and you're going to rotate your chest. So you see I'm looking at you now, because I'm rotating my chest up towards the ceiling. It's a huge stretch from my right hip to my right fingers. And I want to draw that right hip back and over to the right a little bit so I get the maximum amount of stretch. Good. Walk the left hand back out, walk back to center, and then slowly come up. Sorry, and I forgot to mention that if, again, knee issues are an issue, lie down on your back and bring the knees up to your chest, then drop them back down, and then you can do a little like walk your body to the left and stretch to the left, and walk your body to the right and stretch to the right. So that would be your alternative pose. Okay, now we'll go to the other side. So we come back down nice and slowly. Remember, when we go fast, we don't get change, and that's what we want, change in the body. I don't like the kind of change like coin change. I'm talking about change in the fascial tissue, change in the muscles. So push your hands forward and draw your tailbone back towards the floor, towards your heels, your toes. And then begin to walk your hands over to the right, stretching, bringing the left hip to the left. I'm actually shifting my hips a little bit, shifting my hips to the left as I stretch to the right. Opening up through the armpit, opening up through the side body, breathing into that rib cage, opening up those intercostals. Then I take my right hand to my right knee and I rotate through the rib cage. So the left rib cage is coming down towards the floor, the right rib cage is drawing up. I'm looking up. This time I'm looking away from you. And if you have neck issues, feel free to let your head drop. Drop on your arm. Push the left hips back. Breathe into the rib cage. Now take the right arm out again. Walk back to the center. Go back into extended Adho Mukha Virasana. and then walk your hands back. Okay, then you can shift your knees closer together and come up to sitting. Okay, so that was good, and I feel already so much different than I did at the beginning of class. So we're going to go next into downward dog. So if you have to do a variation on downward dog because you have wrist issues, elbows, shoulders, whatever, please feel free to use a chair and do downward dog, or come into puppy pose as long as your knees can handle that. So in puppy pose, knees and hips are in alignment, and you walk your feet out this way. Okay. If you're using a chair, you come up to standing, place your hands on the chair, and reach like you would in downward dog. Okay, so here we are. We're going to come into downward dog. And I want to just offer you a little bit of a difference in how we're going to come into the pose today, a different technique. We're going to find our hands in downward dog. And we're going to curl our toes under, and we're going to round the back. We're going to go actually into downward dog in flexion today. Woo, big reveal here. So we're going to round our back, draw the belly in and up, engage our core. So we're going up with a rounded back, but we're going in with a toned abdomen. We're going to push our hips back and keep our heels up really high, keep our knees bent, lift the sit bones up, and slowly, slowly, lifting heels high, get our sit bones up as high as we possibly can to the ceiling. Now, we are wanting to get our front body, our torso, to connect with the upper thigh. And at the same time, we push those thighs back. And as we do that, we can drop the heel, lift the inner groin, isometrically draw your feet away from each other. We want the weight going back towards the back of the room. And then, keeping one knee bent, I want you to straighten the other leg, and then do the opposite. So it's like you're kind of pedaling, but you're doing it don't just whip it through. Do it nice and slow. Embody your body. And really feel the movement of both your feet. This is a great warm-up for your feet, and it's also a great way to stretch the calves and really activate the muscles in the legs. Good. All right. So now take your feet wide on your mat and walk them up like a monkey towards your hands into Uttanasana, forward fold. Knees bent, feet really wide as you can comfortably go. Not a wide angle pose, but wide forward bend. Hinge at the hips. Let the belly come down to the thigh. Let your head drop. And grab elbows. And let the top of your head rest towards the floor. So what we're doing here is we're serving the spine. We're not worrying so much about our legs right now. We're more thinking about how can I lengthen the spine? How can I get space between those vertebrae? And again, using the breath, every inhale, lengthen. Every exhale, release. Push your feet out away from each other. Engage the core by drawing your hip points together. Feel the abdomen and the thighs touching. If you're hollow, if you're very skinny, you might not feel that, but the bones are there, right? So you're going to press together the structure of your body, the upper and the lower. You're going to press together the abdomen and the thighs, and then draw the belly in and up. And that takes the psoas back towards the hip, the buttocks. So we get this nice opening. And then see if you can start to straighten your legs. See if you can draw your sit bones up, the heels down, and then inhale, come halfway up. Find your nice straight back. So you notice I'm not rounded, straight in the back. Even if I have to bend my knees, that's better than going into this pose with with a rounded back. We're doing halfway up pose. We're opening the heart. We're lifting the heart forward. And the shoulder blades at the same time draw back. Good. And then inhale and come up to standing. You can get really nice and tall again. And exhale back to the front. Good. So take your arms out again. You know, we're going to work these twists and other poses, but we don't want to ignore our shoulders, which are always so important, and tension that we might be carrying in the neck. We want to release that. So let's do Kumbhasana arms. So we're going to take the right arm over the left. So I'm just going to push them together, bend the elbows, and I want to, first of all, join the backs of my hands together. So not the palms, the back. So I'm going the backs of my hands pushing towards each other. I'm allowing the top arm to push down into the bottom arm, and I'm pushing the bottom arm up. And then I'm drawing my elbows away from my head, keeping elbows in line with my shoulders, and I'm feeling the expansion of the shoulder blades away from each other. We work the arms a little bit on that against the wall pose. And here we feel this too. So really observe what's going on. And then exhale and release. Swing your arms out. You can do this sitting, by the way, if you're tired today. I don't have any idea what you did today. I'm kind of tired today myself. So take arms out. Bring the left arm out. I just whip them around. And again, I'm going to try to join the back of the hands together first, not the palms, okay? Now, so on this arm, I have my shoulder issue, and I feel this, like my palms aren't going as close, and that's okay. So push the top arm down, the bottom arm up. Feel the connection between the two. Draw the shoulder blades away from each other. Make sure, by the way, that you're standing in Tadasana. Weight into the heels, the forequarters of the feet, lifting the arches, staying long in the body. Lots of action happening here. So you can really feel this in my shoulder blade, even the back of my neck and jaw. So release all of that tension. Good, and exhale, release. Round two. So right arm on top of left. This time I'm going to join my palms together. Same actions are happening. The bottom arm is drawing down, the top arm is drawing up. There's resistance there. It's one of those PNFs, neuroceptive facilitators. Okay. And squeezing the two together, pulling the shoulder blades away from each other, and feeling the palms of the hands push into each other as well. Drawing the shoulder blades away from the spine. Finding my Tadasana. And then exhale, release. And we'll do the other side. Left arm always. It's my not so great side. So I'm not, on this side I can't join as well. I'm almost there. Second round is always better than the first, right? Take your left elbow down, bring your right elbow up. Squeeze the two together. Draw the shoulder blades away from the spine. When you hold that contraction, you don't have to hold it all the time, but take it there, take the action there, and then you can release a little bit and just see, well, how does that affect the pose? Always ask yourself what I'm doing and why is it helping? Is it helping? Is it making things worse? Am I tensing up other parts of my body? Always ask questions of yourself and of your teacher as well. Good. And then exhale. Good. And then just roll shoulders. So now we'll do the counter pose. We'll take our hands behind our back, interlock, roll the shoulders back, pull the hands down, lift the breastbone up. Take your hands away from your body. And draw the hands down toward the floor. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Good. Exhale and release. Okay, so Tadasana, see how you feel, see what's going on, anything happen while you're working those poses. Okay. So now we're going to go to Pavrita Uttanasana. So Uttanasana with a little bit of a rotation. So we'll inhale up, get really nice and tall. Hopefully you embodied your arms as you went up into this pose. Draw the belly in and up, get really nice and tall, get lots of length. Exhale, hinge at the hips, keeping the weight in your heels, but still on finding the four corners of the feet. Remember, that's the balls of your feet and your heel. And coming forward into your forward bend. This time, you know, your abdomen should be on your thighs, so maybe your knees are bent, but we're working towards lifting the sit bones up, drawing the heels down. Remember, we talked about the curtain of the heel, the back of the heel, the back to inner and outer side of the heel. If you're not certain what I'm talking about these two parts of the heel. I'll show you again, right there. Those want to be pushing down into the floor. The whole back of the heel should be connected to the floor, okay? And then we're gonna walk our hands over to the right-hand side. So I'm gonna mirror you. I'm actually gonna go. So you're going to the right. Just like in the other rotation, you wanna push the opposite hip away. So if I'm going to the right and the left hip back. Maybe even grab your ankle, your right ankle with your left hand. And rotate your chest up towards the ceiling as if you're trying to look upwards or behind you. And again, you can be any distance apart that feels good for you. And then come back to the center. And we'll go to the left side. Walk your hands to the left. Take your right hand on the right ankle. On the left ankle, sorry. And rotate your torso. If you're trying to look at, you can even bring your right hand to your hip if that helps you get the rotation a little bit stronger. Come back to the center. Come halfway up and inhale all the way up to standing and exhale back. Good. All right. So now we'll take a wide stance. And you're going to go as wide as you can, but still able to maintain the proper foot positioning, right? So we don't want to be sinking into our arches. We don't want to be going so far out that we're only on the outer edge of our foot and the ankle is compromised. So you find the four corners of the feet. You lift the arches, shift your weight onto the heels. Now we're going to hinge at the hips and come forward into a wide leg forward bend. We want to keep the back concave. In other words, we're not going into flexion here. This is just round one. And as we come into this pose, we want to push our feet apart. You know, you can experiment a little bit here. You can take your feet like in quite a bit so you're quite pigeon-toed. You can try having your feet straight. And then you can also try turning your feet out. And you can see how each one of them feels. And what happens to your body when you do those three areas. And really what we want is the foot, the edge of the foot, the side of the foot, ideally being parallel to the edge of your mat. So toes are facing forward. Feet are very active, arches are lifted. We're getting into this nice pose. The sit bones are lifting, okay? And the legs are active and they're pushing away from each other. It's like you're on a horse and you're trying to get wide. Okay, now we're going to take our hands to the floor. So your back might round a little bit, but you're trying as much as you can to keep the breastbone going forward so you get that length in the torso. Then you're going to walk your hands to the right. If I was mirroring you, going this way, take your hands to the right, same pose. You want to drop the right shoulder blade in towards your leg, and then you can grab maybe even your ankle with your hand. So if I'm going to the right side, grabbing my right ankle with my left hand. Drawing the rib cage under. Sorry, I'm going back and forth, but when I'm trying to mirror you, I have to remember my left and my right. So I'll have to practice that and do it better next week. Okay. So I'm going to the right, grabbing the outside of that right leg, pulling that leg. The hand is pulling the legs toward me, and it's allowing my shoulder blade to come forward towards the right side, and I'm twisting. Come back to the center, walk to the other side. Hang out at the center actually first for a second, take a breath or two. Feel what might have happened in your body, and then walk over to the right. Sorry, walk over to the left, the opposite side, with your right hand. Grab, right hand grabs left ankle, and we rotate. Try to stay long in the spine. Drop that right shoulder blade. Come back to the center. Come halfway up. And come up to standing. Then you can walk your feet little by little in towards the center, and then come into Tadasana. Oh, feel totally different after that. Okay, now, I haven't done this for a while, so just for fun, and also just to do the opposite of what we were doing, let's take our legs wide again, same pose, interlock our fingers behind our back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, draw the belly in out, draw the chest way up. Okay, so this is such a great way to come into this pose because you keep the torso nice and long. Then we hinge up the hips and come forward into the pose. And then when you, this time, lengthen as much as you can, but then when you finally drop your head, let your arms come behind. And some people might be able to take their arms all the way to the floor. It happens. Inhale up, use the strength of your leg. Push your feet outward to come up so the legs are nice and strong. Bend your knees or walk your feet in, whichever way you want to do it, and step, come back into Tadasana. All right. Good. Let's go into downward dog one more time. And this time we're going to lift our leg up and extend. Do that twist to open up through the side body. It just feels like something I want to do right now. So I'm going to come down into my downward dog. Find my hand placement. Make sure I'm pushing all the knuckles of my hands into the yoga mat. Curl my toes under. Bring my hips back to my heels. Come up into downward dog. Now, if you don't want to do downward dog, you have wrist or some kind of issue, do bird dog. Just bring the leg back this way. Okay, you don't have to do full downward dog. So here we go, downward dog, as I mentioned. How does your downward dog feel now compared to before? One thing that I notice is the sides of my body feel much longer. My hips feel more free, more able to push away from my hands. My hands are feeling really active and sturdy and strong. And I'm going to lift my left leg up and push my foot away from my head. So I'm going to get lots of length in my side body first. Remember, I'm not coming forward here into a plank. I'm keeping my body back, and then I'm going to bend my knee, and I'm going to drop it over to the other side. Now, if that's not possible for you, just do what you could do. And then come on back. And then come on down. Have a little rest. Do an extended child's pose. And we'll do side two. Curl your toes under. Bring your hips back to your heel. Lift your head. Straighten your legs if you can. Feel really solid in these arms. Think about that position at the wall where we had our hand behind us. That firmness in the shoulder blades is what you need in every one of these poses, right? Okay. So, back into downward dog. We're going to lift the other leg up. Push through the heel. If you want to strengthen piriformis like last week, turn the toe out a little bit and feel the buttocks working. Feel the piriformis working. And then heel to buttocks, and open up. Let your body, it's almost like you're gonna fall over to the left side, to the straight leg side. Okay, and then come on back and come again into whatever kind of resting pose you want to do. Okay, that was nice. All right, so next we're going to come up into standing again. And we'll take our right foot forward and our left foot back. We're going to square the hips to the front of our mat. So this is a kind of like a combination of a forward bend, and then we'll turn this into a twist as well. But we're going to just experiment a little bit before we go too much further in the pose. So then I said about balance. I'm losing my own balance as I look at you guys. So find your four corners of your feet where your hips get acted in the pose. You know, we want to push the feet down on the floor, firm up the legs, engage the core. Inhale, lift our arms up over our head. And then we're going to hinge up the hips and come forward over this front leg. Now, if you have difficulty with this, you can bend your knee a little bit, because I want you to get this leg first, and then you can try straightening the leg. There's a sort of a fight that can go on between pushing the foot in and drawing the hips back and the action in the leg. We don't want to, even though we're coming forward, we don't want to lose the back leg. We're going to push through our heel and come forward right over that front leg, and keep lengthening the breastbone forward, and then drop your head if you can. This is where we're going to experiment a little bit. I want you to walk your hands over to the right, and as you do that, shift your hip to the left. Feel the outer back leg heel, outer heel of the back leg, pushing into the floor deeply. Get that kind of stretch. Then come back to the center, and then walk over opposite way. Okay, so now you're going to have a tendency to get your hips go to the right, but don't let them go. Keep the hips in towards the left leg. The right hip is coming in towards the left. You're extending, come back to center, and then inhale, using the strength of your legs, come back out to standing. Good. Come into Tadasana. Again, just playing a little bit and seeing how do these different poses affect our body and our breath. Hard when you're talking to get that true sense, but when you're in the pose and you're breathing, you have an idea, like breathing getting faster. Of course, if we can't breathe, that means that we don't own the pose. I talked about that a couple weeks ago. We have to be able to breathe in the pose fully in order to really own that pose. Okay, so left foot is now forward, right foot is back. You can bend the front knee if you need to. We're going to inhale, lift our arms up over our head, get really nice and tall, finding those four corners of the feet, hinge forward over the left leg. Oh, this hamstring is acting different than the other one. So you might need to be up a little taller. You might even want to use your blocks. You might not want to go as low as you get on the other side. So keep bringing the breastbone forward. See if you can come down to the floor or use your block. Should have said that on the other side, by the way. And push your heel back into your back heel into the floor. So you're really feeling that curtain of the heel. Feel the outer heel on the front foot, the outer heel on the back foot. And then let's take a little walk. Let's walk over to the left. The left of our left foot. As we do that, keep the weight into the heel. Don't let the hips shift out. Then walk over to the right side. So why I like going the opposite way is actually I feel a whole different sensation in the back of my legs. So I'm just playing with that. And then come back to the center and inhale. And then exhale. And come up to Tadasana. Find your Tadasana. Sometimes the greatest thing is just coming out of a pose, how great you feel when you actually release the pose. Hard work while we're in there. But I think I told you that quote. you want to find a few gems, you have to do a little digging. I don't know if I mentioned that at the beginning, but I think I put it in the blog today. So, you know, if we want to find the beauty or the release in the pose, we have to do a little digging. So that was our digging right there. Okay, so now we're going to take a wide stance again, and we're going to do the rotation here. So we're going to take our right foot forward, our left foot back. Okay. And again, you can use a block. In fact, it might be a good idea to have a block handy, or books or something. And we're going to square our hips, lift the left arm up, lift the right arm up. Actually, let's lift both arms up. Start here. Push through the back heel. Hinge at the hips. Come forward as far as we possibly can over that leg, but keeping a nice straight back, a concave spine. And then dropping your left hand to the outside of your right foot onto your block, and your right hand, your right hip. Check to see if the sacrum is flat. And then rotate your rib cage. So we're going over the straight leg, over the front leg, and we're rotating the ribs. And if you get so that your chest is parallel or perpendicular to the floor, then you can lift your arm up. Also activate this bottom shoulder if you're pushing it into your leg or into your arm. Activate it the same way you did at the wall. Your hand was at the wall, we push in, we activated the outside of the shoulder blade. Okay, so there's our rotation. And then we're going to come back, bend your front foot, come on up to standing, and turn the feet forward. Step together, find your Tadasana. Okay. So now I'm going to take a wide stance again. Have the block on the outside of our left foot. Turn both feet, face the short edge of our mat. Pivot the hips so that they're parallel or as much as they can be parallel to the front. Heel is pushing down in the back leg. Back leg is strong. All the legs are strong throughout this whole pose. All right, then you're going to inhale. Lift your arms up over your head. Get really nice and long. Exhale, come forward. As you come forward, keep the weight in the back leg. Keep the weight in the back heel. Hinge, engage core, legs are strong, reaching out, and then you're going to take your right hand to your block on the outside of your ankle or on the inside. Don't watch the video. I just fell over these unsturdy blocks. Okay, draw your left hip back and rotate over the front leg. Your hip does not drop. Your right hip does not drop. The sacrum stays flat. So you've got to really work through the rib cage. Okay, if we just let the hip drop, we're not doing a rotation. We're not doing a twist. So this right hip has to keep pushing back towards that back foot. All right, and then so we were here. Lengthen the body, lengthen the spine, rotating, breathing, using the leg. Release, and inhale and come on up. And face forward again. Walk the feet together. Okay, one more Uttanasana, and this time we will grab our big toe. And so how you do that is you take your two fingers, these two fingers, you place them underneath the toe. You take your thumb and you place it on top of the big toe. If you cannot do this, just do a regular Uttanasana, okay? And if you want to go further, take the whole palm underneath the foot. Inhale, lift up. Get really nice and long. Exhale, forward fold. So again, two fingers come under the big toe. Thumb rests on the bed, the nail of the big toe. Then you bring your elbows out to the side as you
come into your forward bend. You're bringing the upper body closer to your legs closer to your upper body. You're letting your head drop. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and release closer to the leg. If that doesn't work, you can always use your hands behind your legs. You can keep your hands on your block. Of course, you don't have to go ever into full pose. You always listen to your body. Okay. Hang out there a bit longer though. See if you can experience that. Let the belly and the thighs work together. Draw the belly in and up. Bring your shoulder blades away from your head. Don't let your shoulder blades be earrings for your ears. Come away from the ears. And then inhale, come halfway up. And come all the way back up to standing. And then exhale back to heart. Yeah. Okay. So now, eagle pose. Take your block and place it beside your left foot. You want to lift your right leg up and draw it across. Actually, let's do this. Back up. Sorry, one more. Okay, let's take a step back here. Let's do chair pose first. Shift your weight into your heels. Find your chair pose. Then lift your right foot up and place it on the left side of your foot on the block. Okay. And then you can bring your hands into prayer if you like, or do you want to do the Upasana arms? There you go. I don't know why I'm screwing up the language here. And got this foot pressing down on the block for a little bit of support. Also, the wall works really nice here if you need a wall support. And find the four corners of the standing foot. Exhale and release. Okay. All right. Take the block to the other side. Find the four corners of your feet. Come into chair pose, Uttanasana. Lift your left foot. Put it onto the block. All right. So I've got my left leg up. I'm going to run right arm on top this time. If I'm going to do this pose, or I might stay here. Push the foot down into that block. On the standing foot, try to get into the outer heel so that you really activate the piriformis of that side, that buttock. And see if you can maintain some balance. Breathe in the pose and release. Good. And then exhale and release. Come on down to sitting. So much I wanted to do today, but I want to be careful. I want to, so I'm going to give you two options here. The first option is I'd like to do pigeon pose tonight, if possible. And if it's not possible because of knee issues, of course, then I'll give you an alternative. And, a Virasana or something. So I'm going to use two blankets in front. Okay. If you haven't gotten blankets, then you can use a pillow or something, or two blocks. Or if you haven't got any props today, just do the pose without props. Okay. But I want to do this. I like this twist in this pose. Now, if you are having SI joint issues and piriformis issues, low back issues, please be careful in this pose. It's kind of the extreme version. So you want to have an exercise for that extreme version of an exercise for this pose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my right leg forward, and I'm going to have my knee out more than my head, and I'm resting my hip on my blanket. So I've got a little bit of an elevation here, or I could use a block. The front foot, the heel is pushing out. So I don't want my foot like this, if you can see that. I want my foot like this, pushing out through the heel. okay? And knee is out from the hip. And then the back leg, I'm gonna curl my back toe under, I'm gonna lift my hips, I'm gonna roll this hip in. The whole time I'm in this pose, that left hip is trying to come towards my right knee. And then I'm gonna drop down. It's not so much as down when I'm in the pose. The action is actually to go back, to bring the sit bones back and the hips back. And then if that feels really good and supportive, then I'm going to exhale and come down, and I'm going to rest in my forearm. Now, if this is just not happening for you, then you have two options. First option is to lie down on your back and externally rotate this leg. Find that external rotation and draw the ankle towards your head. So you can use a strap or a belt if you want, or hold it with your hand. And so that's one option. The other option is if it's just the hips that are issue, or the knees, but you can do Virasana still. You can go back into this pose, and then when we do the side, you can go from side to side. So you're just doing what we already did already once. Or just find any pose that feels good for you. Okay? So anyways, we're in this right pigeon pose, or as best as we can be. And sometimes I've done this pose when my hips are feeling tight, even higher than 2 blankets. You can do it with, this high, it doesn't matter. You can do it this pose on a table, on a high bed. There's lots of options here. So anyways, as I was saying, we're in the pigeon pose. We're drawing this left hip forward. We're drawing the sit bones back away from our head and came down onto our forearms. We're trying to bring our chest to the leg if we can, okay? If you can't, don't worry about it. And then what we're going to do is going to walk our hands over that leg even more. So I'm going on an angle, and as I do that, this left hip is rolling down, and it's going back. It's going back. The leg's going back. What I am getting is a nice stretch of the piriformis of the bent leg. And I want to draw that sit bone back down towards my heel. I like to keep my foot active, pushing the big toe, pushing in the little toe, pushing into my mat. And then I'm getting this nice stretch. Breathing and rotating. And then walk your hands back. Come up to sitting. Here you are. Okay. And so now we'll do the other side. So again, running a little over time, but hope that's okay for everybody. This is like almost near the very end. Okay, so let's do the other side. So again, bring the knee out from the hip, bring the foot in front, and then slide forward so that the foot comes off your blankets, but that you're pushing through the heel of the front foot. The outer heel in particular has to push away from the knee, protect the knee, and then curl your back toe under, rotate your hips so that your right hip bone is coming towards your left knee, and then sit back down again. And again, as I said, the action is going back and trying to come back over that left hip, that left knee. So we want to try to get our abdomen, which is in the middle, down towards our lower leg here. The work in progress. So all the walking and sitting that I've been doing is making that my left piriformis very tight. And use the balls today, and so I'm going to breathe into that pose and we're going to work that out. Now, if that feels good for you, walk your body to the left, over the left leg. Stand your right arm. Keep drawing the right elbow down. And Exhale and release. All right. So let's take our blankets now. Sit on them or on your block, whatever feels good, or nothing if you don't need it. If your back, you're not really rounded in the back, especially near the waistline, you can just bring the soles of your feet together. So bring the soles of your feet together, push the outer edge, the baby toe side of the foot together, lean forward a little bit and you can use your elbows on your knees. Push your elbows down and your knees back up into your elbows. Just to stretch the inner groins. Continuing with our sort of theme here. Draw the breastbone forward, thinking outward. Sit both down. Length through the side body. This is where we want to lengthen. Then come on back up. Take your hands, your knees. Bring the knees together. Cross at the ankles for Sukhasana. And then let's just walk our hands out in front. See how that feels for us. And again, I'm not rounding my back. I'm not pushing through my thoracic spine. I'm trying to push the thoracic spine forward. And trying to draw inward. Walk back. You could do a twist there from side to side if you want. Change legs, change whatever leg front. Put it behind. And we'll walk forward. Some forward folds today, some twists. There's a few things that I left out that you could add in, like side plank, plank and side plank. Also some lunging with twists. If you want to make the practice a little bit longer, you can add both in. You could do chair pose with a twist. Twisted asana. Come back to sit. Good. So we'll now go into Shavasana. So you'll want to lie down on your back and place something underneath your knees if you would like, or just lie flat. But make sure that you are adjusting yourself, especially there's a few people I think tonight that are new to me. Have something soft underneath your head, a pillow, a blanket. You know, if you don't have yoga blankets, beach towels are perfect thing to use. So just get a couple of your beach towel or your thicker towels out, okay? So as I was saying, you want something soft underneath your knees. You want to make sure you tuck your tailbone, your shoulder blades in, and your tailbone. So as you come down to lying, push your elbows down into the floor, lift the chest, draw the shoulder blades together and down. Not too much, just gently. And then release. And when you do that, the palms will be facing upwards. And then you can extend your legs. You're ready for Shavasana. If you have any feeling of overarching of the back or tightness in the back, then you need to lift your hips and draw the tailbone down towards your heels, and then extend the legs. So we want the natural curves in our back. We never want to try to have a straight back. That's not our only circumcision will have that. Then they're damaged for life. So we want to keep the natural curve in our back. Forward. And so now you're lying. Stay lying. I'm going to just get up to walk you through Shavasana. So many things that we forget about when we're doing Shavasana if we're not conscious. So we want to feel the ground beneath us. Feel the, in my house, the ground is very hard, the wood floors here. I want to feel the hardness of the floor underneath my back, underneath my hips, underneath my legs. To feel that connection to the ground beneath.
I want to feel my breath. Explore my breath. How am I breathing? How does it feel? How does my rib cage feel? My belly. I talked a little bit at the beginning about when we're doing those openers are, at the beginning feel maybe some constriction, but at the end of the practice, maybe you feel more open. That you can go wider and broader. Therefore, you can breathe bigger and then, as I mentioned at the beginning of class, for some of you got here, the whole yoga practice is about being present, about staying in the present moment, staying in your body, staying with the breath. It's also about letting go of preconceived ideas that we have about ourselves. Usually they're negative ideas. Told us when we were young that we were tall or short, lopsided, whatever, and we believe them, and we grow up with that idea in our head. Now we use the yoga practice to let all of that go. Inhale positive healing energy and exhale anything that doesn't serve. Inhale light and love for ourselves, and we exhale negative again that's not serving. Inhale positive healing thoughts about ourselves and our body, and let go of negative self-talk. End of negative self-talk. Here on in, it's all positive. That you are sending yourself. Exhale, just feel this deeper letting go and this deeper sinking to the support. Feel that connection to the earth, ground. Now with each exhale, you become more and more part of the floor that you're resting. Sense as we rest in Shavasana, we allow ourselves to let go. We are really trusting ourselves, building that trust. What's best for us. Let go, just the present. Of course, you're welcome to stay here longer. Want to wiggle your fingers and toes, stretch your arms up over your head, point your toes and flex your feet, and bring your hands down with a great big sigh. Let yourself go. Sighing is very healthy, very good way to release tension and stress. Do it often. Take your hands up towards the ceiling this time. And again, point your toes and flex your feet. Bring your hands down with a great big sigh. Your knees up towards your chest. Roll gently from side to side. Time doing this. And then roll over onto your right side. Turn your chest towards the floor when you're ready and there is no rush. You can lie there for a few seconds, a few minutes. Roll over onto the right side and then slowly come up to sitting. Pretending that I can see all of your lovely faces. I can look into your eyes and heart, sending you love and light, every one of you. Miss you all so much. I can't wait to see you all in person. Namaste. I am going to come forward. I'm going to stop the recording and then I'll unmute you all. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me tonight in the practice. If you have any questions, please stay and ask a question.